All right, tell me so here, my guy, Breadman. How you feeling today, man?
Good, 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 man. My son got a couple of basketball games, so I'm up early.
All right, man. Hopefully you're gonna cook them dudes today, man. Hopefully.
Mhm.
Um, let's the the Vergil Ortiz versus Luben fight. I mean, I think I think it's always stupid if a fight ends extremely early, then you ask somebody, did you think it would end in the second round? Because who the hell really thinks it's gonna end in the second round? But did you think it was gonna be super lopsided, or did you think it was gonna be a little competitive and then somebody take over?
I want to give Virgil his props. I thought it would be more competitive than that.
Mm,
I
okay.
did, but he did what he did, and you got to respect that. Not only you got to respect it, you got to hold it in high regard. You can't like start taking away. These is world class guys, and you can't just start taking away credit from a guy because you know he was the favorite or Luba had been stopped before. You still got to go out there and perform, and you still got to go out there and do it. So you got to give Virgil his props. That was a sensational performance. Like because it's a pressure in that. If everybody's expecting you to win and you still go out there and do it, they say that the best athletes are at their best when everybody is looking. And every like Luben was the underdog. With Ortiz was the favorite. It was in Ortiz's hometown, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he still has to do it. He still has to go perform, and he did his job. And he looked great doing it. I give that kid props. That was big time.
For Luben, is it just a case of, and I know it's always kind of hard to talk about other guys, especially when it's not your guy and you're not really too sure. You don't ever really want to count somebody out and stuff. But is it just a case of, him being too tough? Because from the beginning, he was always trying to fight these top guys. Like he never really wanted to kind of ease his way into things, and he had so many awards.
You know what? I'm not gonna say it's a case of being too tough, man. Sometimes, what's meant for you is just meant for you. Everybody's not gonna be a Hall of Famer. Everybody's not gonna be a world champion. Do I think he got some tough breaks? Yes. Do I think that things could have went in different directions for him? And were there lesser fighters in this era that was able to win belts? Yes. Um, does it kind of suck that he had to fight so many eliminators and so many tough non-title fights because he only got one real title shot? Yes, it does. But that's boxing, and you know, he got what he wanted. He got opportunities. Uh, he didn't get, in my opinion, the greatest opportunities, but he still got opportunities, and he still was in there with guys that he could have been competitive with. He just didn't. He just didn't win the fights that he needed to win. I, I, I like Luben a lot, but it's boxing, man. It's just sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles, man. And I respect him, but I don't think he wanted to fight too many tough guys. That's what being an elite athlete consists of. You want to test yourself versus the best. You want to see if you're the best. And he wanted to see if he was the best. And what he found out was that he was amongst the best. He found out that he was very, very good, but he wasn't the best. And sometimes, it just happens like that. At least he won't be able to look back on his career and say he didn't take a chance. At least he won't be, that drives some people crazy when they don't try. At least he'll be able to say, I gave it my best and it just didn't work out for me. At least he'll be able to say that. And I could respect that.
And just last thing on Luben real quick, because he just turned 30 October something. So, he pretty much has his whole life ahead of him. He still has a considerable amount of time left in his career, so to speak. But do you kind of look at it and just like, not that he should walk away, but maybe he should have a discussion with himself. Like, what do I do next?
I don't want to get into that. That's not really for public consumption, and that's tough on a boxer to hear. They should do this or hang it up or do this. I don't know. I'm not a neurologist. I'm not part of his team. That's something that he's gonna have to talk to his team and his family and and pray about. I can't. I would never say that after such a traumatic and dramatic loss, because he has to be going through some things right now. We gotta watch what we say on the internet. These fighters and athletes, they read this stuff and they listen to it. So I'm definitely not going to say less than 24 hours after he lost, the guy should hang it up. What I can say is that, he should be proud of himself because he fought the best guys of the era, and that's all you could do, and didn't always go his way. But at least he could say that he chased the smoke. A lot of guys can't really say that. They got to say that out of the side of their mouth. He could really say that out loud and stand up. And, hopefully he made a lot of money last night. And, I wish the kid the best of luck. I don't know what he's going to do right now. A guy like him, as competitive as he is, I doubt very seriously if he'd be willing to walk away. You know what I mean? That's just probably not in his nature. But we got to see.
For sure. Well, switching to Virgil, I mean, if he looked spectacular. I know when I spoke to you before, you was just like, man, listen, it's going to be a bloodbath when he fights Boots. You still feel like that, or did that win make you say, still favor Boots, but
I'm gonna be honest. I was very impressed with Virgil. I was very very impressed with him. But early KOs could be a little bit misleading because you catch a guy a little bit cold. Um, but I was impressed with him. Um, I see him improving against Madrimov. He was a little bit calmer, a little bit smoother with his approach, and his jab was working good. And against Luben, I don't know why Luben went up against the ropes like that, shelled up. You know, um, that kind of confused me a little bit. I was like, damn, man, I would figure you want to keep the fight in the center of the ring and use your legs a little bit. And
so just to not to cut you off, but he did the exact same thing against Ramos. Like he just stayed against the ropes a lot, but he won the fight. So,
yeah, and I realized that. And sometimes when a fighter has success at doing something, they become a little bit infatuated with it. And believe it or not, Hines, being able to lay up against the ropes, it saves your legs. It don't let you have to use the leg energy that
100%.
you would have to use if you had to either hold your ground in the center of the ring or move in a circle around the guy. So if
Mhm.
you could lay up against the ropes a little bit, it could save your legs a little bit. And what it could do is it also could allow you to spring off the ropes and use it as a catapult for your punches. But um, that the thing about being up against the ropes, though, you gotta be really, really durable to be up against the ropes.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because your body is shock absorbing so many punches.
Mhm.
And Ali went up against the ropes against Foreman. Ali's special, bro. His durability is like not like a regular human being.
Mhm.
So guys that play the ropes, and I know Luben did it against Ramos, but I'm gonna tell you what I think happened in that fight. Luben hit Ramos on top of the head with a nasty shot early in that fight. And what it did was it made Ramos not come as hard as he would have liked to come. So he was acting like he was coming forward, but as soon as he would get up on Luben, he would stop. Watch that fight real good. He would stop and he would pose and he would do a lot of bannering and he wouldn't really attack like that because Luben hit him with something he didn't like. So for the rest of the fight, he was coming, but it wasn't that monstrous type of come. It wasn't that like he was going to him, but he wasn't willing to go through him. Vergil Ortiz never tasted that. And Vergil Ortiz, the one thing about him is even with Boachuk, when he was hurt, he was fighting through that. He fought through it. And that kind of stuff just don't work with a guy like Vergil Ortiz because he's not going to stop chucking them. He nobody is perfect. He may have his flaws, but one flaw he doesn't have is a guy that's going to stop trying. You know what I mean? Or trying hard. He has like that Benavidez fighting spirit factor with him where he going to you just got to whoop his ass because he's not going to stop chucking them. He's not going to stop trying to knock your head off. So it's a little bit different. Where Jesus Ramos is a little more calculated in his approach. He's probably a little, relies on his heavy hands a little bit more. He's just like a more calculated type of person. It's not saying one is better than work or worse, because Ramos and Ortiz could fight and maybe Ramos could win. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this is a difference, and you can't do that kind of stuff with Vergil Ortiz, especially that early when he's like sharp and strong. I was surprised because Luben just like I know Ortiz was coming forward, but Luben was like accepting the fact to kind of go to the ropes and just shell up. He kind of just accepted it. And I was like, I didn't like the way it looked in the first round. I'm like, yo, he gotta use the center of the ring, use his legs a little bit, use his jab a little bit, let the fight calm down a little bit, but never got to that point. I really don't know what was going on with that, but maybe you
Yeah.
could talk to him. I don't know. I don't like to question nobody's game plan. I'm not saying it was wrong. Well, he lost, so but I'm not like criticizing the game plan. But I was just a little shocked that he went to the rope so early. You know what I mean? With a pressure guy like that.
Yeah, I tried not to criticize anybody's game plan either, but I'm gonna do it. I thought that was a bad game plan. I just thought it was a bad game plan, especially when you are a really good boxer. You throw really good combinations. You have really good power yourself. I thought he would come out kind of strong and hold the center of the ring. Then towards the back half, lay on the ropes and maybe try to win a decision and stuff like that. But to go on the ropes in round one, brother,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
yeah. I didn't. I got a little bit nervous for him after the first round. Like I was watching the fight laying down, and I started sitting up. Like, damn, why is he going there so early with this sparky strong kid? I didn't like what I saw. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't like it.
I,
But
I also didn't like his he just threw his jab without real conviction behind it. It was just like a flick jab, like a measuring jab. It's like,
you
bro,
know what though? I think you right, but I think that might be a southpaw versus orthodox thing, where a lot of times where southpaws and orthodox fight each other, you don't see a guy snapping the jab the way they normally do because they kind of, even though you can jab a guy from the opposite stance, sometimes with certain fighters they don't try it because it cancels the other one out. I think that was a little bit more of that than anything. But going to the ropes is, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he saw something. Maybe he was trying to run him into something. Could have been a possibility. I would like to hear his explanation because again, I don't want to criticize him, but it kind of I was confused by it,
yeah,
especially with the high guard because Witchcomb is good because he throw a lot of punches. He'll just punch through it, rip move,
that,
ripping your gloves down. I
that's
was like, damn, what's
that's exactly how you
yeah?
got.
I was
Yeah,
yeah. It was weird. It was weird.
yeah. I mean, hopefully, I'll get a chance to talk to Luben. I'm not
I
gonna say,
hope he's okay, man. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
hope he's okay. That you know that listen. Texas officials have not been known to be the best, but that was a good stoppage, bro.
hmm
Like people might want to say that was a little bit early. He like lost a moment in time. His eyes went to the back of his head and his body locked up. Bro, that ain't nothing to play with. With you in that vulnerable position up against the ropes like that, those next couple of blows could have been fatal. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that referee jumped in there when he did because I seen his body locked up. I was like, oh shit. And then Vergil Ortiz start going like one or two more blows. You don't even need to let the guy because he would have fell without being able to brace himself and he would have cracked his head and it would have been a double concussion because it knocked not just the punches but the falling on his head. So I'm glad that referee stopped that fight.
Yeah, if you actually looked at it, like he act when the ref jumped in, like his body, Luben's body kind of ended up going on the referees. So you
He
just
went
kind of,
limp.
yeah, he went limp on the referee. So it was just like he didn't try to like fight him off. It was just like for like
Yeah,
a couple seconds. It was just like,
that's not good. That's not
yeah,
good, man. So I'm glad he didn't take no more punishment.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a and before I stop talking about Luben, one of the best guys you'll talk to in boxing. Just super cool guy, man. Just
Luben?
yeah, always down to earth, man. I really rock with
Yeah,
Luben.
yeah, 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 yeah. He
Super
is a
cool.
real cool dude, man. I like Luben a lot. He's a real cool dude. Every time I've ever been around him, I've always been real cool and respectful. He's a nice kid, man.
Yeah, for sure.